This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahushai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahushai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahushai is his son who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai's sake. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4, is that I asked a question in ChatGPT, website. I asked it a specific question. I said, how did the indigenous people in the Western world become Christians? Okay, that's it. It wasn't a bias question. It was a straightforward question, okay, with no bias and tendencies. All right, no bias tendencies, okay? And look what came up. All right? And this is why I brought out Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 4, because to our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, you are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. That is the heritage that the Lord Yahweh gave to us, all right? That is the culture, the identity, all right? The heritage that the Lord gave us, all right? And because of disobedience, we were discontinued from our heritage, all right? And the Lord set up to have our enemies, all right, force a ridiculous insanity of religion upon us. And that's plantation Christianity. And this is why, it makes totally sense why we don't have anything to do with you plantation Christians, okay? We don't have anything to do with you jakes that are stuck on plantation Christianity, all right? Because you clearly are sick in the head, all right? You're disingenuous, all right? You don't care about history, all right? You don't. And this is why we tell you to stay the hell away from us. So this is just for edification. Again, this is from ChatGPT. I asked a non-biased question. How did the indigenous people in the Western world become Christian? That's it. Okay? And this is why the bulk of our people that are stuck on plantation Christianity here in America, you are going to die. You're going to be destroyed. Okay? There is no repentance, all right, for you, because you refuse to acknowledge the truth. You will not be delivered from the nuclear blast that's coming. All right? You see what's going on with Pakistan and India? All right? It's getting hot. World War III is literally kicking through the fucking door. Let's get it in. The process by which many indigenous people in the Western world, the Americas, so they're associating the Western world to the Americas. Again, I did not write this. This is, this is ChatGPT. Became Christians is complex and rooted in a long and often violent history of colonization, forced assimilation, and missionary work. And I'm going to show you the missionary work. Okay, hold up. Where's the missionary work at? Where is it at? Okay, there you go. There's the missionary work. Okay. All right. Here is a priest, more likely from Spain. Could be from Portugal, because this is the time of the conquistadors. Okay. shoving a cross with a Caucasian, all right, what they claim is the Messiah, okay, Jesus, right? Even though this was about the 1500s, late 1400s, and 1500s. So the letter J was just being placed into the alphabet, the English alphabet. But again, these are the Spaniards, so the Spaniards wasn't using the letter J. All right, it was because it was in fact, lessons within lessons. Let me show you some history. Okay, let's do this. Okay. How did the letter J come about? The letter J emerged as a distinct letter primarily due to the efforts of Giorgio Trissino, an Italian grammarian, poet, and dramatist. It started as a stylistic variation of the letter I, often used in handwriting as a squash. Trissino argued for a separate letter to represent the constant sound J, distinct from the vowel sounding I. Right, that's why if you get a 1611, all right, King James Bible, all right, where the letter J is at, where the letter J would be at, it's I, because the letter J, all right, wasn't put, okay, into the Bible, into the Holy Bible till later, after, way after. Okay, the differentiation was formalized. The differentiation. This is a nice $100 word. The differentiation was formalized in the 1524 treatise, Trissino's epistle. Right. So there you go. All right. So when the Spaniards came over here in 1492, all right, and damn near the first half of the 1500s, and again, all right, the Spaniards are speaking Spanish. They're not speaking, okay, a specific language pertaining to English yet, all right, or recognizing it. So they were not calling on Jesus. That's the point, okay? So this came later on. So they were telling them to worship a Caucasian Messiah. This is our people, mainly you so-called Hispanics and Native Americans. All right? You're being told in a missionary work to worship a idol, a false god. All right? And that's part of the curses. Okay? This is the assimilation work. In fact, let me get Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 12. And again, this I just typed this in, and it just proves that plantation Christianity is a big joke. And this is why we don't want to have any dealings with you plantation Christians. All right? Please leave us alone. All right? Because you do not care about truth. You don't care. Okay? Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 12. And ye have done worse than your fathers, for behold, ye walk everyone. You know what? Let's get the meat off of this. All right? Jeremiah 16 and 9. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Okay? That's who the Lord's dealing with. All right? In fact, let's get these milk scriptures. Milk scriptures. All right? There's nothing wrong with the milk scriptures. Like the beloved Elder Gad always told me, keep it simple. He told me that. Remember that. Many years ago. Just keep it simple, Samak. Amos chapter 3, verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, Yahweh, have spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought you from the land of Egypt, saying, verse 2, here's the point. You only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for your iniquities. Right. And part of the punishment is discontinuing from our heritage. All right. Having these heathens force plantation Christianity on us. All right. Just want to throw that out there. All right. But the point is, all right, we are the Lord's chosen people. All right. And the Lord punished us for doing what? All right. committing sin. Behold, I will cause to cease out of this place in your eyes and in your days the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride. Right. Okay. Pretty much. All right. We're about to be judged and removed. All right. From our land. No more. What's it called? No more feast days. Okay. No more high holy days. All right. Like this was all stripped from us, our traditions, our customs. 10. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt show the people all these words, and they shall say unto thee, Wherefore hath the Lord pronounced Yahweh, wherefore hath the Lord Yahweh pronounced all this great evil against us? Or what is our iniquity? Or what is our sin that we have committed against the Lord Yahweh, our God? NOT version. And when you tell the people these things, they will ask, Why has the Lord decreed such terrible things against us? What have we done to deserve such treatment? What is our sin against the Lord our God? All right. Like our people don't know. Did you know? This is why the Lord jacked us up. 11. Then shalt thou say unto them, Because your fathers have forsaken me, saith the Lord Yahweh, and have walked after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law. Right. So that's what our people were doing. All right. This is why when you read in the Old Testament, quote unquote, I don't even like saying Old Testament, all right, because it's one book, all right? It's the Hebrew Bible, all right? Scholars call it the Hebrew Bible, okay? The reason why we kept going into captivity after captivity after captivity because we kept worshiping other gods, all right? Following after the customs and cultures of the other gods, all right? We didn't keep the laws of our power entirely. All right. Yes, we knew we were Israelites, but secretly we were worshiping other gods. Okay. In fact, you can read that. I'm just going with the spirit. Lessons within lessons within lessons. Ezekiel, what is it? Ezekiel 8. The visions of abominations in Jerusalem. You see that? Here it is. We just get to the point. Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 4. And behold, the glory of God of Israel was there, according to the vision that I saw in plain. 5. Then said he unto me, Son of man, lift up thine eyes now the way toward the north. So I lifted up mine eyes the way toward the north, and behold, northward of the gate of the altar, this image of jealousy in the entry. Right, because the Lord is a jealous power. Okay? Check out what was going on. 6. He said, Furthermore unto me, Son of man, seest thou what they do? Even the great abominations that the house of Israel committed here, that I should go far off from my sanctuary? But turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations. Let's see what this says in the NLT version. Son of man, he said, do you see what they are doing? Do you see the detestable sins the people of Israel are committing to drive me from my temple? But come, you will see even more detestable sins than these. Right, so the Lord was heated. He was very upset with what we were doing. 7. At what we were doing as Israelites. And he brought me to the door of the court, and when I looked, behold, a hole in the wall. 8. Then said he unto me, Son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I had digged in the wall, behold, a door. 9. And he said unto me, Go in, and behold the wicked abominations that they do here. 10. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping things and abominable beasts, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall round about. There you go. That is the point right there. Okay? All right, and that's why in the 9th chapter, the Lord told the angels to kill, all right, the leadership. Start with the leadership, but kill, all right, man, woman, and child, all right? Because of this, all right, when you go into Ezekiel chapter 9, all right? But there's the point. There is the point. So let's go back. So Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 12. Again, and ye have done worse than your fathers. Right. So the Lord said our forefathers were doing this. And then he was saying we have done even worse than our forefathers. And look at today. All right. Completely gone. All right. Still stuck on plantation Christianity. Worse than your forefathers because you don't even want to acknowledge you're an Israelite anymore. Okay. You don't want to acknowledge that the Lord chose you above all nations. For behold, ye walk every one after imagining of his evil heart, that they may not hearken unto me. 13. Therefore I will cast you out of the land into the land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there shall ye serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor. This is a good example. All right? Serving other gods. Plantation Christianity. Okay? This is it. All right? This is it. So let's go back to ChatGPT. All right? Just going to read some key points. Colonization and conquest. Beginning in the 15th century, European powers like Spain, Portugal, France, and England began exploring and colonizing the Americas. Yup. That is a fact. Okay? And really, Spain and Portugal are one and the same. So it's really Spain, Portugal, it's really Spain as a whole, France, and England. Okay? You can read that in Daniel. Let's get it real quickly. Daniel 7. Because it talks about the three horns. Yup. Okay? Because this is the beginning of the Renaissance period. This is when the rise of Rome 2.0. Okay? Daniel 7 and 7. After these I saw in the night visions, behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. Right? It's talking about the Roman Empire. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Right? The 10 horns represent, all right, the European Union, formerly known as the European Economic Community. All right? Or a European Economic Committee, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check. Fact check. European Economic Community. That's what it was called. Yep. The European Economic Community, often called the Common Market, was a regional organization formed in 1957 to promote economic integration among 6 European nations. All right. It started with 6, but it expanded. All right. Okay, but again, it all goes back to what? All right, it all goes back to the main source. It all goes back to Rome. All right, this is the extended Roman Empire, established by the Treaty of Rome. See, all right, and this was all spiritual. It was done by the Spirit, so that the elect can know. All right, this is when it talks about the 10 horns. All right. Is talking about these nations, all right, bringing forth the extended Roman Empire. The EEC aimed to eliminate trade restriction and foster economic cooperation. Right, there you go. Okay, so now you get an understanding on that. Where is the yeah, here it is. 8. And I consider the horns, behold, there came up among them another little horn. It's talking about America, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. Right, and this is the point I'm talking about. Right, when you read this part where it says Spain and Portugal, that they're one and the same. It's just Spain, France, and England. These are the 3 horns that were plucked up by America. All right, but the point is, they came over here, colonizing, pushing plantation Christianity, having us worship idols. Okay, we just finish off on this. Plucked up by the roots, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. Right. And this is talking about America, Babylon the Great, speaking great things. Now they're saying AI and they're done. The elites are done with plantation Christianity. It did its job to mess our people's heads up. Now they're pushing with AI and fusing man with machine, and this is where the RFID chip, mark of the beast, comes about. All right. So yeah. So there you go. Listen to this. Alongside military conquest and economic exploitation, colonizers brought Christian missionaries, primarily Catholic, and this is why these plantation Christians, regardless of what denomination, all right, the root of it is still Roman Catholicism, all right? That's the root of it, okay? primary Catholic, Jesuits, Frankincense, Dominicans, all right, and this is why you have a country now called Dominican Republic, all right? You're not Dominican, all right? But because of these colonizers, they labeled you as Dominicans. In the early period and later, Protestant groups. Indigenous populations were often subjected to brutal violence, forced labor, and displacement, creating power imbalances and facilitated religious conversion. Right. So this is why you became plantation Christians. And it's all right, what I brought out. In fact, if you go to the curses in Deuteronomy, 28, what did the Lord said he would do? He would bring a nation with fierce countenance as the eagle. Where is it at? And these are just milk scriptures. All right. There's nothing wrong going back to the milk scriptures. All right. Because this is what keeps us going. Yo, look, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36. And the Lord shall bring thee, meaning you, and thy king, all right? It's talking about King David, which goes to show you this is reincarnation, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shall serve other gods, wood and stone. And plantation Christianity is a good example of wood and stone, okay? This is wood right here, right? Worshipping an idol. Jumping down. 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations where the Lord Yahweh shall lead you. Right. Meaning you're going to be called Negro, okay? Puerto Rican, Dominican. Again, let's go back. The original Dominicans were Catholic priests. And now you have a country called Dominican Republic. Come on, man. This is a byword of proverb. This is not your nationality. Okay? And for you truther out there, you should stay the hell. If you were claiming to be in the truth about conspiracies and stuff like that, why would you even subscribe to plantation Christianity? The Jesuits were all up in there. Okay? Torturing and murdering, okay, our people. And this to you, Jakes, that claim to be, into conspiracies and learning about the secret societies, right? You should stay the hell away from plantation Christianity, all right? That's why you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Americans, those that know about the Illuminati and the secret societies that still subscribe to plantation Christianity, the Lord's gonna fuck you up. Oh yeah, he gonna fuck you up, man. All right? Because the Illuminati, the secret society go hand in hand with plantation Christianity. That is a fact. Okay? That is a fact. Okay? That's how they started their power. It was always by the religious groups. Okay? This is how they got control over the whole world through, colonization using plantation Christianity. That's how these secret societies got down. Especially the Jesuits, man. And they're still in a heavy power seat. All right? From the research that I came across, they're hand in hand with the banking cartel. And the banking cartel still has to abide by the Jesuit priests, or they'll end up, clipped. Because the Jesuit priests, they work with the left-hand side. They're actually summoning demons. Okay? Read about how the Jesuits started. Ingolstadt, all right? He was talking to a so-called angel. No, he was talking to a demon. All right? Read that. Go into that history. The history of the Jesuits. Anyway, moving on. And that's just from the research that I came across. Okay? All right. But the point is, plantation Christianity, secret societies, they go hand in hand with the rape, robbery, and exploitation of our people. And the fact that you're still holding on plantation Christianity in 2025, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Americans, you are sick. You're fucked up in the head. Forced conversion and assimilation. Wait, no, let me go back. A little ahead of myself here. Let's go to what I was looking for. Here it is. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. All right? Ding, 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 ding. Spanish. 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 That's the tongue that was forced upon us. All right? Prior to the conquistadors, we were not speaking that tongue. This comes from Spain. All right? 50. And a nation of fierce countenance, we shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. Right? And oh man, all you got to do is go through some images, man, of if you go to Partelno de las Casas, all right, conquistadors, all right, they're look at this, there's that image, come on, all right, there's one where, yeah, look at that, this is the baby being taken and smashed against a tree. This is what was going on. This is what was going down over here by these plantation Christian, all right, heathens, these maniacs, okay, forcing plantation Christianity on us. All right, look at that. There's a baby, and they're throwing it up against a tree, man. Again, this is why our people are going to be destroyed, are stuck on plantation Christianity, because you refuse to, all right, hearken to your, all right, to remember your history. Look at this. Oh yeah, this is finally when we were finally trying to, vindicate ourselves, or trying to do something, and it still didn't work, because again, this is part of the curses. But this is when our people started to fight back. After all the madness that was going on. Look at this shit. All right? This is the devil. Look at this. What the fuck are they doing here? Are they putting hot coals on someone's back? Or they're torturing him? All right? It looks like it's like a hot wax mixed with something, and they're just tormenting this guy. This is the shit that our people have to go through. Wow, look back here, working in the working forced labor to go get the gold. But our people want to forget. But the scriptures don't tell us that. Look, Job chapter 8, verse 8. For inquire, pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to search of their fathers. You're supposed to, okay, go back into the history of your forefathers, man. All right, this is a commandment. 9. For we are but of yesterday and know nothing, because our days upon earth are as a shadow. Right. You're supposed to, all right, search out your forefathers, man. And you're not supposed to forget what happened to us. Okay? And those that are stuck on plantation Christianity, you don't give a damn about, all right, your people's history, man. It's talking our people. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the Americans. Forced conversion and assimilation. Colonial authorities often mandated baptism and church attendance. There you go. In places like Spanish America, laws required indigenous people to convert and outlaw their traditional religious practices. Yup. That's it. Forced to convert. And it was a crime if you kept your traditional practice. This is why you became a plantation Christian. This is powerful stuff, man. There is no more excuses. That's why the judgment's coming so heavy. There's a reason why the Lord, all right, had it that this website will be up. Okay, and Grok, which is on X, because it literally it said, the scriptures talk about wisdom and knowledge shall increase, man. All right, because the Lord is now literally closing the doors of mercy, and this is it. If you don't have any spiritual eyes, the Lord is closing the doors of mercy, because now this information is so easy to be accessible. It's right at your fingertips. Asking specific questions. All right, and again, I asked a non-biased question. This is a non-biased question. You can't get any more non-biased than that. Missionary, what else? In North America, especially in the U.S. and Canada, during the 19th and 20th century, indigenous children were taken from their families and placed in residential boarding schools. all right, where they were forbidden to speak their languages or practice their cultures, and Christianity was imposed. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. This is why we don't have any dealings with you plantation Christians, okay? Stay the hell away from us, or we'll call the cops on you. You're out of order, man. You don't care about truth, man. All right, but guess what, man? The elect are going to wake up, and they have been waking up, and they've been sealed, and that's why the Lord's moving these prophecies fast, okay? Jeremiah 16:14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. 15. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Right, and this is a future prophecy that we're waiting on. Okay? And the biggest salvation is coming out of America, Babylon the Great, because this is where the truth came out of. Okay? All right? So there you go. So Lord willing, that's edifying. Again, I just typed in this word. This question, few words, and lo and behold, man, ChatGPT. You can't, and this was a non-biased question. I'm going to say that, and that's going to be the title: non-biased questions. A non-biased question to ChatGPT, and this is what they broke down. And you can type it out yourself. Okay. Type it out. Oh, look at this. Today, many indigenous communities in America practice Christianity, often alongside traditional beliefs. Right. That's how messed up our people are. All right. Not only they'll subscribe to plantation Christianity, they also subscribe to other traditions prior to plantation Christianity. Okay, which is other gods. Okay, other idols. This is why the Lord is going to destroy a lot of our people, man, because they're bugged out. They're sick. All right? They've rejected knowledge. So, Lord willing, let's edify. I want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Wakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep it doing. Keep the faith. Keep pushing. Keep fighting. Keep studying. Pray without ceasing. Pray for each other. Pray for the apostle elders. As you can see, we're almost out of here, man. The Lord is making it plain upon tables. All right. Jake, that's still stuck on plantation Christianity. They're going to die a horrible death. They have no excuses, and it's the truth. They have no excuses, man. There's no excuses. Okay. The truth is out there. It's at the fingertips. For the few that are watching, keep studying, and when you pray with your head covered. We're almost out of here. Shalom.